See, after I did that, it clipped out that image to the same size as that front part of my folder. And I still have that. That's why it's important that you make a copy. I'm going to get this back on the screen here so you can see it easier again. And you can see that I have a clipping path layer now inside this group, and then the actual metallic metal pattern there. And I'm going to move this around just a little bit to get it looking good here. That'll work. Deselect everything. And now here on this group, I'm going to change the transparency. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit here. Maybe set it to, let's try overlay. That kind of makes things a little too pink. Maybe multiply. That'll work. And I'm also going to change the opacity down quite a bit, down to like say 30%. And now it's got a little bit of styling to the front of that folder, and that looks pretty nice. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add basically a label for this. So I'm going to click on my type tool, and I'm going to type this out. We're just going to call this files. So type that out, highlight it all, and I'm going to go up to my character and just select the font that I like. Let's try and find one that looks pretty good here real quick and go through some of these. That looks pretty good. Maybe not. Find something else. Yeah, that kind of fits the styling of the back with this repeated metallic kind of pattern there. I'm going to increase the font size just a little bit though. Let's see what 18 looks like. Yeah, maybe a little bit more, 24. That way at least it makes it nice and readable. And I'm going to move that over here, over to the corner a little bit. Okay. I'm going to change that fill from black to white, so I'm going to reset everything and just ditch the stroke here. There we go. And I'd like this this font to match up a little bit more. I'm going to play around with this, just see how this works. Make sure that I have my font files here selected, and then I'm going to go to Object, Transform, and change the shear on it. I'm going to change that to, let's try 3. Click on preview. Let's go 0. Basically trying to make it match up a little bit more with the outside angle of my folder here. And a little bit more. -10, maybe that'll do it. A little bit more even. Let's try 15. Let's try 18. And that should work pretty well. I'm not totally happy with that. Whoa. There we go. That's too much. I guess we'll go with 18. That looks pretty good. And you'll have to change it depending on the kind of font that you end up using. Okay, so I've got this set up. I'm going to move it up just a little bit. There we go. I'm going to make a copy of this, and I'm going to paste it in back, so that's Command-C, Command-B. And I'm going to offset it just a little bit by moving it, just 1 dash over and 1 dash down. And I'm going to change the fill to that dark purplish color. Select these both. Oh, made it kind of orange. Didn't want that. There we go. I'm going to select these both, and I'm going to group these. So Command-G, and put it right on top. And that is it as far as the basics of setting this up. Now, another thing that I would like to do is put a little drop shadow in on this. Nothing huge, but just to give it, again, kind of help pop it out from the background. So I'm going to select the back, just the very back object, the one that we first started with the tab, and I'm going to go to Effect, stylize, and drop shadow. Again, making sure that I have my preview button clicked. And let's see, 3 pixels by 3 pixels with a blur of 3 looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to stick with that. And if you want to change the color, you can. You can change it to whatever color. If you want it to be kind of this red color or whatever color you're working with, that's fine. Go ahead and click OK. And there we go. Let's view it in actual size just to get a sense of how that reads. And that's nice and clear and readable. And it's got a little bit of styling from that metallic pattern that I added in. That'll work great. All right, from here, of course, always make sure that you save, and it's probably a good idea to save at least a couple points in between. So I'm going to save this as, just call it file icon, and I'll just save it to the desktop. Click OK, and it'll generate that. Boom, there it is. Now I'm going to export this as a PNG. But before I do that, I'm going to want to make sure that I have my crop area set. So I'm going to go to Object, Crop Area, and Make. And the reason why you probably want to do this, at least in my instance when I brought in that larger metal pattern for the background, is it's larger than the document setup, or basically my artboard. So putting in this crop area, make sure that when I export it, it's only going to export the area of my artboard that I want. So now I'm going to export it, and file icon, I'm going to change that to PNG, and again I'll just save it to the desktop and go ahead and export that. Again, I'm going to make sure that I have it set for screen resolution, which on a Mac is 72. I think on a PC it's 96 point PPI. And also, and this is really important, is make sure that your background is set to transparent. And there we go. Got my PNG right here. I'm going to hide this for now. Go ahead and close this out. Don't save. Now, I use this nice little program called Fast Icons. You can find it if you go to www.digitalwaters.net, and they have a nice little program here called Fast Icons. I'm sure for a PC there's something else available out there that will work. But I like this program because it's real straightforward and real easy to use. So I'm going to grab my PNG that I created here. I'm going to drag it down to the program called Fast Icons and open that up. You can see it's got my little icon here ready to set. And I'm going to assign this icon to this Scratch file on my desktop. So I'm going to assign it to File or Folder, assign it to Scratch File, Open. And there we go. I got my custom icon right there. Quit out of this. Fast Icons also lets you do batch exports at different resolution sizes and things like that if you want to make your own icon pack. And that is it. So there you go. You've got your own custom icon. Here, I'll highlight it. There you go. It appears in the Finder, and you're all good to go. And that's it. Hope this helped you out and taught you a few little tricks. I know I went through it pretty quick, but if you have any questions or comments, please just go ahead and post them on my YouTube video here. Or you can also, again, go to redworks.com and subscribe. And if you have any comments or questions, you can do that there as well. If there's anything you'd like to see in terms of the tutorial, please go ahead and just let me know.